And Ben Bruss with you. Season low 58 points for the Fighting Illini. Let's start here. This was a brilliantly executed game plan by Loyola. Both ends of the court, they were fantastic. But this is the Big Ten Network, so let's focus on the Illini. Ben, what happened here to Illinois?
You know, a lot of times throughout the year, Dave, I've seen Ayo Dosunmu really let the game come to him. He's been a fantastic teammate, a fantastic winner for this Illinois team. And I thought just today might be the day that Ayo took over. Early on in the game, he had a tough 2-point step-back jump shot where I was like, it's going to be Ayo's day. But simply, like you had mentioned, Loyola-Chicago's game plan, double-teaming Ayo off of every ball screen, really making everything uncomfortable for Illinois, and then the lack of adjustments at halftime. They were chasing in every sense of the word, chasing the score, chasing Loyola players around on defense. Loyola runs a lot of great offense in which Illinois was always chasing, and Kofi Cockburn was caught in a tough spot where every time he had to make a decision, do I stop the ball? Do I go to Cam Krutwig? And defensively, they just weren't able to get comfortable and get stops. Illinois had been playing their best basketball of the season when they got stops, got out in the open floor. Too many times in this game, it just felt like it was in the half court and Illinois was getting trapped. They didn't move the ball side to side and get Loyola on its heels. It was Illinois on its heels at every point of that ball game.
It's remarkable. I mean, never led in the game. I mean, this...
For a team that won so much.
Yeah, no, it's really something. Again, 8-game win streak comes to an end. It's the first time ever they've been a 1 seed and failed to at least advance to the Elite Eight. This was the 4th time ever as a 1 seed for Illinois. And well, they certainly did achieve a great deal. Their 3rd ever Big Ten tournament title, first since the great 2005 team that played for the national championship. Ayo, amazingly, the first ever Illinois player to be a first-team AP All-American. Kofi Cockburn had a great year as well. He's certainly eligible to come back next year, as is Ayo, but he's made it pretty clear he is not returning. But again, the negative, first team since Purdue in 1996 to be a 1 seed from the Big Ten and lose in the 2nd round. Again, unclear what Cockburn will decide to do, but there's certainly a really good young nucleus. I mean, Andre Curbelo has really emerged here, but was the 6th man of the year. In the Big Ten, Adam Miller had some good moments on Sunday. What do you make of the Illini, kind of how you put all this into perspective?
I think they have to build off of what Brad Underwood said is, I'm going to think of this group fondly because they were able to win a Big Ten tournament title and sort of set a standard under Brad Underwood of what he expects, and that is championships. And if you think about when Ayo Dosunmu did go out, Dave, those guys you mentioned, I thought grew up as freshmen. Andre Curbelo, Adam Miller really showed that he kept playing at a high level. But I'll focus on Curbelo because he is so polarizing in the way he plays. If he continues to mature on the floor, too many times he makes some bad passes, but he's a freshman. That's going to happen. He was 6th man of the year. There's been some 6th men of the year in the Big Ten that have really gone on to do some great things. Draymond Green, Aaron Kraft, Nigel Hayes. I think Curbelo has that opportunity to go from 6th man to potential 2nd team, 1st team, all Big Ten type player next year.
Yeah, I don't think anyone believes, look, it's 8 years since Illinois has been in the NCAA tournament. I mean, it would be stunning were they not back there next year and were they not once again competing towards the top of the Big Ten. So, yes, you lose an incredible player in Ayo Dosunmu, but certainly still a lot to feel good about going forward for the Illini. But certainly this was a bitter, bitter loss, no doubt. Interesting game here. And certainly when you look through the stats, if both teams hit 25 field goals, both teams shot 45%, both teams hit 8 threes. Turnovers really were the issue, and it's so uncharacteristic. When you hear turnovers were the issue in a Wisconsin game, you think, well, good, they won, but that wasn't the case.
Which is the foundation of the program, is if you take care of the basketball, you're going to get a shot each possession. You didn't get as many shots as Baylor, and that was the difference in the game, Dave. But ultimately, it was kind of a microcosm of this season for the Badgers. Anytime they had faced a superior opponent, they just have not lived up to the expectations that Coach Gard talked about, where they were able to run 8 straight off the table in February and March last season. A lot of the same players back, but just weren't able to put it all together. And it's a tip of the cap to them what they were able to do. But also just a disappointing season overall when you think about they played the best competition in the Big Ten, and ultimately against Baylor, it never really felt like they were in that game at all. They made some pushes to get within single digits a couple times, but the Badgers, again, no different than when they played Iowa, when they lost three times to Iowa, or Michigan twice, dominated strength versus strength, as you had said. A strength for Baylor was they caused turnovers. A strength for Wisconsin is they lead the nation in fewest turnovers. That's not going to be a winning formula if you're out turnovered by Baylor by 10.
Just a weird year, no doubt, right? I mean, coming off sharing the conference regular season title last year and being picked third in the unofficial preseason poll this year, and I think a lot of people feeling like they could finish higher than that, could win the league and end up 500 in the league. Again, really good group of seniors that maybe didn't quite live up to what they had hoped for. You wonder what might have happened last year. Painful loss. And it's a game they led by 9 points in the final 5 minutes, had the game. It seemed in hand. Ben, what did you take from it?
I took that Rutgers did a really great thing this year. They didn't have the opportunity to play last year, the NCAA tournament, had a chance where they really had it all in hand, but turnovers late really cost them. Offensive rebounds late really cost them. 16-2 in second chance points, Daves, was really the difference, I thought. And not running offense late. When it got to the 2-minute mark, it was let's dribble the clock out and get to 10 seconds and try and make a play. Houston is such a good defensive team that if you try and make a play late when their defense is set, it's really tough to do. And Geo Baker made some plays for them, but ultimately keep running the offense. You can get movement, side-to-side ball movement to create some sort of rhythm in the offense. Otherwise, it's so hard to create just when you're standing at the top and saying, go.
Did so many things right in those first 35 minutes of the game. Defensively, they were great. They held Houston at 37%, as you said, had some trouble keeping them off the offensive glass. But, man, it was there for the taking. It's a tough one.
Yeah, Dave, it really, every second I watched that game, it felt like Rutgers was in control. They looked like the team of all the teams in the Big Ten that played today, that was the team that was most likely going to win because they dominated the way they played defense, the way they controlled the tempo. Just late, they let it slip away, and it was that late-game offensive execution.
And particularly with the way that bracket has opened up, it is really painful because they certainly could have advanced even further. Still, great year. Make the tournament for the first time since '91. Win a tourney game for the first time since '83.